Okay, so this is the Drupal UX meeting for August 17th. It's the more European-friendly time in the morning. And we have a few agenda topics.
Yes, we do. Yes, good morning. Let's see. Keith, it's okay if we start with yours?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Maybe you can. Hi, Dixon.
Hi. I've also invited Andre, a guy from the initiative who will be working on implementing some of the prototypes, UX prototypes and so on. So Andre will be joining the Hangout here in a bit as well.
Right. You're third in the queue. We have 3 topics for today, so they have some time to join. Keith, do you want to share your screen and talk us through the issue, or?
Yeah, I need to set up for screen sharing. If you could bear with me, I don't know if you want to switch things around. I need to just put my virtual machine.
Okay. It sounds complicated.
So, I mean, I can give you a quick. I can try and talk at the same time as.
No,
get this running.
I can share mine, and you can talk to that if you want, or.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. All right.
Probably say enough anyway. So yeah, so I mean, it's a pretty straightforward issue in itself, in that the 7 theme does very limited styling for these 2 forms at the top of the content administration screen. So obviously, normally you just get the filter. Get the filter when there's no content, and then as soon as you start getting some content, you get the bulk actions form. So we had a few clients actually say they were clicking accidentally on the apply button. It used to just say apply, and I know Clara's been taking care of an issue to get that renamed.
Yeah.
And which obviously helps, but also so just some basic styling around that, just to improve the separation between the forms, is what the issue covers. So I've done it in 2 forms, which is just basically a simple styling of the box around the form, the second form, the bulk action form, and then a slightly more involved one, which I'm still sort of playing around with and exploring, because obviously it has a number of knock-on effects depending on how the view is used, what type of display mode is used. Does that kind of make sense?
Well, to me it certainly makes sense, because I've seen it previously. I quite like the separating it visually, and also because the bulk operation will always only be one field anyway. So putting that in one line, I think, is a good visual clue that those are 2 different forms. So if that also works with, if you don't have a table, but if you view the results as fields, then I think that would be great.
Yeah, that does work to my eye, and the patch obviously works. I'm just trying to get this virtual machine going so I can share my screen, because I've actually got a prototype of it running. But yeah, it works. So the more complicated version, where I've done a little pointer arrow, which obviously is visually, something it's more enhanced, I suppose. It makes things more obvious what's going on. That becomes tricky, obviously, because we're removing any gap, any margin on the bottom between the bulk action form and the table header, to make that form join to the actual table header. So removing that gap means that, and the different styling means it doesn't look so good when you're not using a display that's a table. So I'm still sort of playing around with that idea at the moment.
Yeah, it sounds a bit uncommon to use like a list or something else for bulk operations. I don't know
Yeah.
how even the checkboxes would look like with the lift. But,
Well,
So
it,
the
it
other
might be
thing-
uncommon, but it's possible. So therefore, we should
I think it can
factor
be-
that in.
Sorry, Clara, carry on.
It might be uncommon, but it's still possible, and certainly for if you just show a list of rendered items, it still works, I think. No, yeah. So I think it's good to factor that in, and maybe just go with the simpler version now, because that already does improve a lot of the usability. Instead of spending lots of time to get like that last little really nice arrow in, because you'll also lose the space where you can put the show all columns, or the
Yeah.
if the table gets smaller, you don't have to display all columns. So can't really see of a use case, but that first column might fall away. So I would be happy if you just go ahead with the not enhanced version, with just putting the label, the field, and the bottom in one line.
Yep, that makes sense, I think. And in terms of actually the other version, is definitely something that can be done later if it's felt that it adds enough to be worthwhile. I did try it out. So you can move the column. Obviously, the arrow moves with it, so it still works. I think some simple, it probably have to be some jQuery just to add a class or something to the view based on what type of view mode is being used, or it would have to be obviously something coming from views itself if we were to go down that enhanced route. So it's probably a step too far in terms of wanting to get quick wins.
Yeah, given that also the bulk operation doesn't need to be in the first column. You could also have it somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, that does work actually.
All right, okay, cool.
Yeah, no, that's something that actually looks okay in my prototype. Yeah, it's purely the fact that if you stop using a table, it becomes a problem. So I guess that's probably it, really. Any questions?
No, I'll write my review up also in the issue. So.
Yeah, basically, it sounds like a good idea. Useful to do, and I think we should basically comment to that effect in the issue and find somebody who wants to do it.
Yeah, one thing I also like is that it's actually not just fixing this one form where we have seen that it's a problem, but it's coming up with a solution that works for any other form that somebody will build.
Okay.
So I think that's pretty good because it means you're just keeping that usability for future forms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that really helpful actually. Clara pushed me in that direction. And that was really good because you do definitely approach the problem in the right way. So obviously this does mean, do we need to look at other core themes, I guess, as well, but certainly starting with the default one makes sense.
I guess there's a difference between changing whatever default markup we're outputting, and then it's for us to fix it for 7 or whatever core theme that might use it, and other themes follow by doing it themselves. I don't know. I think that's right what I'm saying. Somebody correct me.
Yep.
Also, what I'm going to link. I opened an issue some time ago for a design exercise to look at that filter and bulk operations section across core, because there's a lot of variations of it in core alone already. I'm going to link this issue as related to that one.
Yeah, there also is an issue to actually rename the apply button for the exposed filters to filter.
Yeah.
Because basically what it's doing is, in most cases, it's filtering, and sometimes it might be expanding the filter, but it's basically always dealing with filters in one way or the other.
Good.
Because the end users actually never see the fact that this is filtering.
Right.
I'm going to link that as well. if you
Yeah.
put yours there.
Yeah.
Actually, on that
So-
note,
Yeah.
sorry, I was wondering on that note, do we want my? Do you want me to do a few more styles on that patch to cover the mobile version of that filter form? Some widths aren't set, so it spills off the screen on mobile. Or do you want me to treat that as a separate issue?
No. That has to be part of the actual issue
Yeah.
because it has to work for mobile. So if we.
Sorry, that's for the filter part rather than the
Sorry.
bulk action part.
Just do the bulk action now.
Yeah.
Get that out
Okay.
of the way, and then we deal with filter as filter.
Yeah.
Okay, who will put in a comment?
I'm putting in a comment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will stop sharing my screen for now. If other people have questions about this, then shoot, or else we'll move over to the next topic. Okay. Thanks. The next one would be short of memory. Aggregator. Right. Gabor linked an issue. Use a consistent name for the aggregator module throughout core. I'll paste the link in Slack once more.
Yeah, so that's that's a pretty old issue. It's 8 years old. No, even worse, it's 2007, so it's almost 9 years old now. Yay! And it was recently being worked on by several people. It was also recently RTBC, and earlier Angie asked for usability review about a year ago. She tagged it with usability, but the needs usability review tag was maybe not a practice at the time. But basically, the issue is about using a consistent name for feed aggregator instead of calling it feed aggregator and whatever different parts of the UI. It calls it aggregator everywhere consistently.
Okay, and feedback that we need to provide is making the call on feed aggregator versus aggregator.
I guess, yeah.
All right. Let's have a vote.
I'm simply for aggregator because it's shorter. And if you don't know what it's aggregating, you need to find that out anyway before you do anything with the module. I like the fact that it's just the same. It doesn't look like two different ones.
Like two different ones?
Like aggregator and feed aggregator always looked like you could aggregate something else as well. Like you can aggregate feeds and you can aggregate something else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
No.
because the name of the module is aggregator. So when you enable the module, it's aggregator. It always used to be aggregator. It was one of the first modules in the list.
So let's just call it aggregator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easy.
Easy.
Okay.
I'll put in a comment.
Right.
All right. That was easy. Next. Yes. Joseph. Dick. Trash UI. If somebody would like to introduce and give some context to what you're working on, and then
Sure.
do whatever we need. And if you can demo anything specific, we'd like to take a look, of course. But take the floor.
Absolutely. So, hi guys. So I think you all know Joseph from before. I'm new to this call, at least. So I'm the initiative coordinator for the workflow initiative. So I'm here with Andre as well, who's another developer on the initiative. And we've got a bunch of things going on in the workflow initiative. We've just got content moderation committed to core. So a bunch of UX work to be done there, and we do have a sort of next big thing on the roadmap is something we call trash UI or trash module, which is exactly what it sounds like, really. A way to delete and undo or recover deleted content. So Roy, Joseph, myself, and Boyan, we met in Amsterdam in early July, I think it was. And we've sort of flashed out a brief plan of all of these things. So I guess we're here to talk about the next line of work, really. Myself and Joseph, we've already gone over the plan, and we're gonna start working away on it. So let me see here. I haven't got anything specific really to demo today, nor any specific issues or challenges, I guess. I guess we're here to just say that there's a whole line of work that's starting, and that's gonna be visible in the issue queues in the coming weeks. Let me see if I can just share some of the notes that we took in Amsterdam. Joseph, do you have anything to fill in, or Roy, do you have anything to add on the Amsterdam stuff we covered?
Yeah, basically in Amsterdam we got through the entire plan for all UX related stuff that is needed to be done for the workflow initiative, and it will be obviously work which will span across several months. But at first we'll be looking at the trash UI, then we will also talk about do some work on the content moderation states UI and how you change those, and then a very big chunk of work will be to basically figure out how to work with workspaces and the UI for that. But right now we'll be focusing on the trash UI, and hopefully it will even be somehow implemented probably in the contrib before DrupalCon Dublin.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of things. I should come better prepared maybe to next week's UX meeting here. Maybe give a demo of some of the things and some of the concepts that we're talking about. Because there's a lot of new things that we introduce here. As Joseph just mentioned, workspaces and trash and revisions. So there's conflicts and conflict resolution, content conflict resolution. So there's a lot of new concepts that I think would be worth presenting to everyone. I don't have a very good demo today, so I'd say we leave that aside for now. But we've got a big document where we took down a lot of notes in terms of mapping things out and identifying various things. I'm not going to go through this in detail because there's a lot in here, but we basically covered all the various scenarios that the initiative will be touching, and the audience for these various scenarios. A bunch of photos here on all the things we worked on. We've also started thinking about concept models, how we basically illustrate and explain all of these concepts. So this is something that we're gonna digitalize very soon as well, so that we can start communicating what are the things that we're actually trying to do.
I made a start with actually I I need to finish that last one, the big one.
This one, yeah.
No. Basically, the grid of I think on top, basically what you have. That's one. Yeah. I actually already secretly, not so secretly, published the first two.
Yeah.
Just as.
Just gonna find them here.
Let's see. Yes, we have drawings, and I posted them to my blog as well, just as simple placeholders for now. But it needs that third one to basically tie them together, yes.
Yeah.
Joseph, can you paste the workflow initiative plan link to Slack? And so, if I understand it, Trash UI is the first.
Yeah. So
thing?
let's see here. I think we had our beautiful Gantt chart here somewhere that we put together of things we want to get done. Yeah.
Yes.
So for 8.3, there's a couple of things that we want to get done. We can let's put workspace exploration aside for now. So the blue things here we can put aside for now. So there's three things that we're going to focus on in the coming weeks and months here. So that's moderation states UI. There's a couple of challenges of the new content moderation module that we need to fix, and the save and view in terms of moderation states, how we manage moderation states. That's another challenge, and the specifics of those challenges are outlined. Let's see in here. Yeah, so moderation state management, save and edit content. So they map to these two here. And then trash and undo user interface. Exactly in what order we tackle these things. We said here that we're going to start these. There are already patches and work started in the issue queues on these two. So they are already in progress. So one thing that we're going to pick up pretty soon is the trash and undo UI. And Andre, who joined us on the call here, he will be working on implementing the prototypes that we come up with in the contrib module, so we could sort of iterate on them there and try them out in contrib, and have people provide feedback on that in contrib as well. Obviously before things make it into core. Because we do have a suite of modules that kind of represent the initiative in contrib of what we want to get done. So yeah, I don't really have much more to cover than that, but it's a little bit for your own information, and more will be coming in the coming weeks, I think.
All right.
Have I missed anything, Joseph?
Not really. I just posted a link to the notes from the sprint in Slack.
And just as a reminder, what did we achieve for 8.2?
Yes, so 8.2, we basically got the content moderation module into core. So with this module, we can moderate the published state of nodes. So there's obviously published, draft needs review, etc. So that was the biggest thing that we accomplished for 8.2. Along with, we've started triaging the revision API's issue queue or backlog, really, because the revision API and the entity API is are places where we're going to do a lot of work. So we started triaging a lot of sort of back-end underlying issues there. But the big thing in terms of UI was certainly content moderation module.
Yay!
Yay. Which is which has gone in as an experimental module. It should be added. So.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
All right.
a quick update there for everyone.
Thanks.
I will hopefully be a bit more involved here in the coming weeks and months. Perhaps not every meeting, but there's certainly going to be a lot of things to talk about.
All right. Thanks for keeping us posted. All right, that's the 3 topics we came up with for today. People have anything else to add? They should do so now. Else we can, I guess, close the Hangout and move over back to Slack and chat whatever we want to chat about, or else see you next week.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
See you next time.
Thanks,
everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.